wildebeest. Wait, look back here. Okay, or not. Just looked like it was going a bit grey. Ah, it's rubbed away patches of its fur. Well done to Faisal, who is wondering if the wildebeest will make GNU friends during the migration. That, very well done. That, I think, is a winner. And they will make lots of GNU friends. Hopefully not with crocodiles and lions. But a friend, I don't suppose those would qualify as a friend. Very good, Faisal. Another winner from Holly while I pull off for the incoming vehicle. Wait, what was it again, Lou? I wonder if the wildebeest give directions to the... will give GNU members of the migration directions when they arrive. Also genius. Very well done, Holly. Sorry, I mangled it a little bit. Got distracted by moving off the road. GNU. Why can't I think of another one? I'm not very good at this game. Let's carry on. Oh, Kito. I'm driving Brent's vehicle today. I find her key absurdly difficult to turn. Okay. Oh, there is a heron for you. 2 herons. Now, earlier on, VM asked me if I'd rather be a hammerkop or a heron. Naturally, we end up talking about such things on long evenings and long mornings. I said heron, but I think I've changed my mind. I think a hammerkop might even be a more suitable bird choice. As VM said, hammerkops live in mansions. They do build the biggest nest of any individual bird. Herons are just so elegant, though. Poised and ready to strike. Okay, let's carry on. Seen lots of herons. I want to go and find a leopard in the forest. Hunting wildebeest from the croton thickets. This area smells very distinctly of hippopotamus, which is a combination of grass and fish. I find hippopotamus smell quite fishy, even though naturally they don't eat any fish. There's something about the water scent that clings to them. Good news indeed. It sounds as though Byron has made his way to a waterhole.
I have indeed, but no sign of any animals. So I thought we'd take the plan of action of, Senzo, is your cup ready? Of having a bit of a coffee so that the animals can come to us. And I'm also just pouring for Senzo so our cameraman stays awake. There we go. Senzo, there's a bit of hot chocolate in there too. It's a bit of a mixture, really. It's a speciality I like to call bush coffee surprise. Let me know what you think. It's not too sweet though. Is it okay? No, I wanted to come have a look. We're at Twin Dams. Now there's often a lot of birds hiding in the thickets around here. There is still a lot of water here. So that's what I wanted to come and have a look for. To see if there weren't any interesting birds around here perhaps. This is a lovely spot. I would probably use a spot like this to get guests out if we did have a coffee break or a little stop. And the reason for that, it's nice and open, so it's safe. Just you can keep a good look around for any animals that might be moving down. You also up on a bit of a dam wall here, so it is a nice spot to stop stop at, and beautiful views. There's always something, always going to be birds around, waterholes and that. I heard some ground hornbills calling earlier, but they sounded quite far, but they were definitely all calling. Always nice to hear that ground hornbill sound in the distance. Crested franklin's calling. The Cape turtle doves just flew over us. Hang on, I think there might be a little bird here. I can hear it chirping. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Just in the water, if you follow the water's edge, Senzo, just in the water, close to the edge, at the bottom, where the reflection of the trees are, just to the right. Keep going in and a little bit further right. Keep going, there we go, in the water there. Little three-banded plover. That's what I can hear chirping. They are beautiful little birds, beautiful little plovers, three-banded plover. See, so sitting around here like this, you do see interesting little creatures or beautiful little birds. You can hear the call of the African green pigeon. Something like that. Let me play the call for you rather, so you can hear what I'm listening to. The African green pigeon. You can let me know if you thought that was a good rendition of it. Oh, there's some grey go-away birds. There we go, listen to the green pigeon. Yeah, was that close? Senzo, you don't think so? That's the African green pigeon. I think they're sitting in, let me show you. That's what the green pigeon looks like. Beautiful birds, and we've seen them a few times on Safari Live, and we see them quite often. Beautiful birds. There you go. Lovely bird. I think they're sitting in the torchwood to the back there. There's that very prominent torchwood. And just up there, I think they're in there somewhere. That's where the sound came from. Alright, well I think let's move on. Why don't we head towards Treehouse Dam? I think we'll go that way and see if there isn't anything that way. I'm going to continue sipping on my coffee and warm up a little bit. The temperature's quite cool this morning, but let's head across to... sorry, I can hear Taylor on the radio at the moment. Let's just give it a second. I think she's getting an update from one of the other rangers or guides. Alright, well I think she's off the radio now, so let's go across to Taylor, find out where she is and how her morning's going.
Well, I'm hoping that it's about to get better, because Rexon has just said he's found something and we're not far. We're here on Twin Dams Road. Now, unfortunately I didn't hear exactly where he said I must go. Somewhere near Ingus though. Let's just pick the pace up because we're not far from Ingus. Let's go see what Rexon's found. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha. Let's have I hope we have another. Whee! That was a big bounce. Well, a good one. I got some air there. Only we had judges to score me. Okay, so I think he said something about just south of Ingus, which is the other houses that some of the Wild Earth staff live in. It's empty at the moment because Tristan is not around. Sebastian's on holiday too. So it's just an empty resort, really. I'm gonna have to chat to Rexon again. Rex. Sorry, Rex, I was just lumbering just now. I just confirmed just south of Ingus. Okay, copy. I'm just coming up Wahlberg's Road now. Okay, copy. I'm looking out for them. So Rexon says he can hear my vehicle. He's somewhere up here. So you just got to go past Ingus. We're on Wahlberg's Road now. If you didn't hear me, I think we might have some lions, but I don't know. He hasn't said just yet, but we were tracking lions around here. Maybe they're around, so I have to just concentrate because I don't want to miss his car. Craig, I think he's this side. We're just looking out for his vehicle. We've just got to go past Ingus and then we're going to turn south. I'm also looking for Rexon's tracks, so there he is. Okay, it's wonderful. Well spotted, Craig. Not only can he spot owls from a mile away, I can't even put a car in 4x4 on that. Wendy just jumps out of it though. Craig can also spot cars from quite far away too. I've got your visual. I'm just fumbling flatting now. And probably there was more Vonkonso coming off this way. That's why we turned here. Yeah, Rexon doesn't want us to come in from this way. I don't know, so someone else has come in here because there's vehicle tracks coming in, which is why we turned off here. Sorry, Craigie, the tight squeeze. Maybe someone was just reversing in there and that's why it looked like there were vehicle tracks going in, but there's an old road there. I reckon we've had a couple of sightings too. This is obviously an old 2 track. Again, this is another old road. Let's see. Oh, I've got that song in my head. Bizarre song to have in. Well, I'm going to just try and find the best spot for us to see which is the right way to go around. I'm going to send you across to Byron and then hopefully you'll come back to us shortly with some lions.
So that's exciting. Sounds like Taylor and Rexon managed to find some lions. I didn't hear exactly how many there were there. That's exciting and not far from camp. And that's great because I think then it's starting to warm up and the chances are those lions will hang around for today and probably be there this afternoon again. So we'll see. We're meant to be doing something interesting this morning. So I don't know if the camp is excited or if they're nervous, but I am going to be the chef this morning. I'm going to be doing a bush breakfast for all of us, and we are going to be filming it and doing a safari live story. So you will see me. I don't know if I've got an apron. Well, let's see if I can find an apron somewhere. Ask Amanda if she's got one. Don't think so, but you'll see me in my apron perhaps. And then a bush breakfast and a chef's hat. Senzo, you think a chef's hat? So I'm doing breakfast for us out in the bush this morning, which I'm looking forward to. It's going to be interesting. We'll see how it goes, because I'm going to be doing it on an open fire, so slightly different to what I normally do. Normally we get these little gas burners that are easy. You can take them on the vehicle with you, and you drive around, and you can stop anywhere and jump out, and you can just do, they basically have a pan on the top. You do your bacon and eggs or whatever you want. It goes quick and easy. But I'm going to be using open fire this morning, so I'll have a pan. We'll see what we can do. See what happens. We'll see what happens. Alright, well, it sounds like Taylor's got herself into position, so let's go and have a look at those lions.
We do. So they were around here very sneakily, calling, making lots and lots of noise last night, as we were chatting about earlier. It's the Nkuhuma pride. It looks, trying to figure out which one's the adults, because they're lying in this long grass and it's proving quite difficult to count if all of them are here. I can see at least at least 4 adults. I'm sure all 5 of them are here. And then there's a big Birmingham too, who I can't see. Craig, do you think we can have a look at the Birmingham's face? I just want to see if I can see any identifying features there. Yes, no, I don't know who this is. Maybe Nkuhuma? But it's hard to say. But you can let us know. And you're also good at IDing these big cats in #SafariLive. Now, we are just, if you didn't hear me talking about it earlier, we're near Ingus. Sorry, Chantal's just asking me where the lions are. So we're near Ingus. That's the house that the other people that work with us live in. But we're sitting here, and this is a real carpet of lions. I think it is Nkuhuma. Yes, I can see that cut on his eye now that he opened it. See that? Just at the edge? I think it is. But we'll wait. If he stands up, that'll be great. Now, he's got a very full belly. Very, very round, so he's had something to eat. Everybody else doesn't really look like they've had much at all. They've got slight little bellies. But that's it. Oh, that male lion is just sat up. Just watching. Yeah, definitely Nkuhuma. You can see quite easily now. He's the most battered of all the boys, and he's got that big cut on his right eye, just under his eye. He always seems to have altercations. What a beautiful lion, nonetheless. Shame, Craig, I haven't really done you much justice. I wonder if I reverse a little bit, if I do this, you can get a clearer shot of his face. Let me do that. Let me just reposition slightly so we can have a look at him with... How's that? That better? There we go. Now you can all take some nice screenshots. There we go. And you don't have any branches in your way. It is, of course, very difficult to try and get a clear view, especially when the lions are laying flat in the grass, which they do oh so well. But take full advantage of this beautiful fella as he sits up, because I don't think he's going to stay in this upright position for very long. He looks exhausted. I don't know what he's caught. I don't know, maybe they took down a wildebeest last night. That would explain why the wildebeest have run so far away and are on Impala Plains now. But look at those eyes growing very heavy. I reckon his nose is going to touch the ground very shortly, and he'll roll back onto his back with his belly up towards the sky. This is nice. I'm glad the lions are back, which would mean that they will be back for this afternoon as well. I don't think that they'll get moving. The only thing they might do, though, is the spot that they're in is not a particularly good spot to sort of shade themselves. It's very exposed, it's very open, and they might move. If I were them, I think they'll probably go a little bit further east or north. And there's some nice marula trees. This block is actually quite a lovely block. And there's lots of guarri trees that they can sort of lay underneath and be protected from the sun, because it is going to be a warm day today. And I just wonder when they settle down. So we didn't come this side this morning, actually. We drove all the way along Zoe's Road and we checked the boundaries. I didn't actually see where those lions have crossed in. I don't know where the Nkuhumas have been for the last few days either. They've been MIA, moving all over the show, constantly searching for buffalo. Now, if they'd taken down a buffalo, we would still see some remnants of it, so I don't think that that's what they caught. I think it must have been something quite small. There's one of the adults, one of the lionesses. Still trying to see 1, 2, 3. There's, the juveniles now, the sub-adults, have got so big that when they lay down in the grass like this, it's almost impossible to tell the difference between the adults and the youngsters, barring that they still have a slightly fluffy coat. It almost looks like they haven't been paying attention to grooming, which I think is the least of their worries at this age. But how peaceful is this? Isn't this awesome? Lots of sleepy cats. Now remember, this is live. This is happening right now. And we'd love to hear from you. So you can hashtag Safari Live with any of your questions. Isn't this cool? Nen is my favorite Birmingham. But because I don't see him very often, Mfumo is actually starting to grow on me now. He's a very, very nice lion to photograph with all those cuts on his faces. Now he's just looking around. I think he's giving everybody the evil eye. We're all sitting in the sighting watching him just going, I thought I'd given you all the slip. Almost. But not quite just yet. No. Now, Jono to Summit, you're wondering if I know how old this fella is. Yeah, we do. We have a rough sort of estimate as to the ages of the Birminghams. When they first arrived, they were about 5 years old. They must be almost 6.5. Yeah, about 6.5. We undecided because there's 4 Birminghams. There used to be 5, but sadly one of them was taken out by a buffalo. See, the tables do turn occasionally. Now, Nsuku and Nena have much darker manes, more fuller manes, and they've had their big manes for quite some time. So we think that they are a little bit older than Tinyo and Mfumo. I think Mfumo might actually be the youngest male in the pride, because his mane is only just starting to turn that sort of darker color now. And typically, if it is a dark mane lion, not all lions have dark manes like this, that normally starts to develop at about 6 years old. So I reckon that the Birmingham boys, and of course this is just my opinion, nobody knows for sure their exact date of birth, so it's sort of a rough estimate, but I reckon that they're between about 6 and 6.5 years old now. Somewhere around there, give or take a little bit. Maybe even Nsuku and Nena could be closer to 7 years old. But they all would have left their pride, their maternal pride, all around the same time. So it doesn't matter even if there's a year, sometimes even 2 years age gap, you'll find that the male lions will stick together and all try and leave at the same time. They've got a better chance of survival by doing it that way too, rather than one going off on his own and then a couple of months later another one going off on his own. Oh, are we going to do a big yawn for us? Yes, good boy. Oh, not really a big yawn. Just a little one. And that's not him going to wake up. I think that's him doing a yawn going, right, I'm ready to go to bed now again. There we go. These canines are still in good condition too. Tinyo has not got the greatest canines. That's what his name means, tooth. Yeah, come on, give us one. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Especially that his mane is backlit. What a stunning lion. Now, Saturn Digit, I think that's how we say it. You're wondering if this pride has got any nearby competition. Most certainly. There's actually quite a few lion prides within the area. So I think, if anything, the biggest competition for the Nkuhuma pride in terms of size has to be from the Torchwood pride. Now, they don't normally step foot onto Djuma, but occasionally we see their tracks crossing in on the eastern corner of the property, but then they don't come into the property for very long and then they disappear again. I have yet to see the Torchwood pride. So that's their biggest competition. There's quite a few females, lots of cubs, but the Birmingham boys also go through and sort of maintain a relationship with them. Then we've got the Styx pride, but that's only 3 lionesses. So 3 lionesses versus 5 lionesses plus all these sub-adult cubs. Not really too much competition. So the Styx will try and keep away from the Nkuhumas, and the Nkuhumas will try and chase them out. Then there's the Tsalalas too. Again, it's a sort of small little breakaway pride. There's only, last time there was only 2 females. So not very many at all. So not huge competition, but that doesn't mean to say that tomorrow a new pride could move into the area. Things like this can happen all the time. Oh, you didn't like that. I think he removed a tick from his paw and then got it stuck in his teeth. So at the moment, the Nkuhuma pride seem to be the greatest around here. Faisal, you say that Mfumo is the Scarface of the Sabi sand. I suppose. I don't think he's quite as well known as the Scarface in the Masai Mara National Park. He's definitely one of the most famous lions out there. Hey, good boy, and I look how big he is, especially with that big belly. Now don't hide and scratch like that. Let me go back a little bit more for you, Craig. Just try and keep angling it so we can see him nicely. There we go. That's a bit better. Now, Joe, you're wondering, what does Mfumo mean? Mfumo means the authority. And I suppose it's very fitting, because if anybody gets a hiding, Mfumo is usually the one that gives it. He boxes with his brothers all the time. Him and Tinyo used to have the most dramatic fights over females, which is also quite common. So there's not just one dominant male within a coalition. They are constantly competing with one another. So one day, you might have had a better meal and you're feeling fitter and stronger than your brother. And that doesn't mean that they're blood related too. They could just come from the same pride. And then they'll have a box. They'll have a fight. And whoever wins that argument, it doesn't normally end in death. It's just a scrap amongst siblings. Like, you know how you, at home, my brother and I, when we were younger, we often used to get into fights, which is normal. Now we're the best of friends. And that's the same thing. And one week Sean would win a fight, and the next week I would, come out being the winner. And it chops and changes like that. But normally they're quite placid. They just causes a bit of a stir when the females come into estrus. Then you can imagine they all want to mate with them. But normally it ends up being that all the males in the pride end up mating with the same female. So you never really know as to which offspring, who's fathered the offspring. He's very itchy. Just behind his leg there, he's enjoying that scratch. You can see licking his lips. That's always so funny to see. We see it with our cats and our dogs doing it, but it's quite amusing to see a fully grown male lion do that. Yes, you need to clean your face up. I think you need the ladies to help you, but they can groom their faces. What they will do is they'll lick their paws and then sort of stroke over their faces with their wet paws, and that will help groom the hair. But we'll stay with these lions and see what they get up to. Byron's sitting at a dam, and I reckon he's wanting to do some birding.
I have wanted to do some birding around here, but I found something interesting. Now, we're having a close look at this dam, and Senzo spotted something and said, "What is that?" And we had a closer look. 2 nostrils. Now, there is a hippo hiding in Treehouse Dam. Now, it's right there in the center. We'll see if the nostrils pop up again to take a breath, but a very, very sly and sneaky hippo that is hiding in here, and only the nostrils have popped up. Now, that is potentially quite dangerous, and I'll tell you why. Is because people often, and that's why hippo can cause, or are the cause of, quite a few human casualties is because people come close to water and they'll have a look around and say, oh, well, there's nothing in here we can see. And this is a shallow dam. There shouldn't be anything in here. And all of a sudden, there's a hippo inside. Wow, there's a beautiful golden-breasted bunting, Senzo. Let's see if we can get it just on this little stump there, on the ground there, just to the left. Let's see if we can get it quickly. Those two that are just on the ground there. Yeah. Let's have a look. Well done, Senzo. Look at that golden-breasted bunting. One of my favourite little birds. Just in terms of beauty, the white markings along the side of the head. Oh, Senzo, sorry, our hippo. Look at the nostrils quickly. Oh, so quick. So quick. You can see that ripple that was just caused in the center of the dam there. Sorry, Senzo, as I glanced over, I just saw the two nostrils stick up quickly. But they're beautiful little birds here. There's a blue waxbill. If we just have a look at the... there we go, there's that blue waxbill. Look at that. Well done, Senzo. I've struggled for ages to try to see a blue waxbill on camera. It's still just jumping around. You see, they're very quick. So the golden-breasted bunting and the blue waxbill, wonderful little birds around the waterhole. As I said, I can't believe this hippo is hiding in the dam. Because I really would not have thought there'd be a hippo around here. And every time we come here, we just assume, oh, there's no hippo. We look and we never see one. So, well, there we go. And then we've got a... Where is that bird, Senzo? Is it? Sure, Senzo. You stumped me. Is that a juvenile little plover? I think it's a... That's so difficult. I think it's a juvenile blacksmith, a lapwing. It's a chick, and that's why it's so difficult to identify. Sure, Senzo. You can see it's still quite fluffy. I think that is a juvenile blacksmith lapwing. I wonder if I've got an image of one just to double check myself, because it looks so tricky. But I think it's a little chick of a blacksmith lapwing. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Let's see if there are any photos of chicks here. Yeah. Senzo, have a look at this. Luckily, there is a photo here. And you see, hold on. There we go. See that? That's what that is. Little blacksmith lapwing chick, or juvenile. That's walking around there. I looked at it and I thought, what is that? But it's it's a young blacksmith lapwing. So almost stumped, but luckily I sometimes get it right. Yeah, there are two of them walking around there, and they're walking exactly like the blacksmith lapwings do. They're two little blacksmith lapwing chicks. You can see both of them there now, running along. It's a nice surprise. That could have been a potentially difficult one to identify because they look so different. We could have made it up. So they're two rare birds. Seen if any of the other guides would have rushed into this area. Fern, you say they're so little and precious. They are indeed. So nice to see them. Alright, well, let's go back to Taylor and the Lion Pride and see if they are still resting. Oh, there's the hippo.
Oops, they are got a bit excited there. They are indeed still resting. They got a fright just now. I'm not sure what happened. Craig seems to think that maybe one of them had a nightmare, which is also a possibility. They dream just like our domesticated cats and dogs do at home. And then as the one lioness jumped up, she gave a couple of the others a fright. Now, that Birmingham boy, he doesn't care where he sits, and he's just about sat on one of the female's heads. And if you watch her tail, that one on the left, you can see that she's swishing her tail. I think she's slightly agitated with the Birmingham boy. He also got up just now and he was trying to sniff the females, and they weren't having any of it. So he better watch himself, because he's like a big hippopotamus at the moment. He just plonked himself down on top of everybody. I'm hoping, though, if we sit here, that they are going to move, because the sun is warming up quite nicely now. It's lovely. Craig and I are envious of these lions. We wish we could be sprawled out like that too, although the way that I'm sitting at the moment, I may resemble a lion. But maybe they'll get up and give us a bit of action if they do move towards another tree. That's the plan. And we've seen these lions do that often. Many a times when we've been following the big cats and they stop to lay down to have a rest, it's never for very long, because the sun keeps rising and changing the sort of shadows that it's casting, and there are no shadows here for these lions to really sleep in, barring the odd one from the bush willow here and there, but it's not particularly good. But I'm happy that it looks like they've had something to eat, even though it looks like Nkuhuma has eaten every single bit of it. Joe wants to know how many lions are in the park. Well, Joe, many, because remember, this is open to the Great Kruger National Park, so essentially these animals have got 8.5 million acres of land to move around on. That's a whole ton. I don't know how many prides are exactly on the 8.5 million acres of land, but there are plenty of them just in the Sabi sands. So the possibilities of prides of lions that we can see up in this area are, of course, the Nkuhuma pride, which is the pride we're looking at now, then the Torchwood pride, which I spoke about briefly, as well as the Sticks and the Tsalalas are normally the ones that we typically see. But my goodness, the further you go south in the park, heading towards the southern sands, there are so many different prides of lions now, and there are lots of coalitions of males, and they're constantly moving around. Well, the boys are the ones that will move very, very far. They don't necessarily stay in the same area for their entire life, because they get chased out of the pride. So look at the Birminghams, for example. They come all the way from the Timbavati. That's quite far from here. As the crow flies, maybe not so far, but they have to go all the way around. Remember, around the 8.5 million acres of land, there is one boundary fence, but they can move in between. And so it's not a typically square property, because there's lots of sort of main roads and things that run around in this area. Don't quite dissect the park, but the fences go around those roads. So it's a strange shape. Fast asleep again, though. They really do blend into this grass. Isn't this amazing? Byron's having a great day. He seems to be doing lots and lots of birdings. We're going to stay with these cats, so we'll try and be as patient as we absolutely can. And hopefully it will pay off. I've just also got to keep in mind the other guides and the sightings, so we'll see if there's any standbys, because we might have to pull out, seeing as we've been here the longest now. Rexon has moved out to make space. But let's go across to Byron and see what other feathered friends he's got to show you.
Now I'm scanning around here. We getting glimpses of some beautiful birds, some canaries, as well as little red-billed quailias. I'd love to show you the quailias. Now the quailias are those birds in parts of Africa. You see millions of them. Now I read somewhere, and I stand to correction about this, but I think that the quailias, now they do that and some of you might have seen this before. Now, the quilias, you get those huge flocks of thousands of quilias that fly, and they do that beautiful flight pattern where it looks like a cloud moving in the sky. It's known as a murmuration. Now, that murmuration of birds, it's amazing the communication that goes on where they fly and they move through the sky, and it appears as if it's a cloud in one mass moving together. Now, those are the quilias that you see. Starlings also do it, but the quilias are very well known for doing it. Now, the quilias, there are so many of them, so abundant, that I remember reading somewhere once, and I'm you're always careful about these little facts or theories, but I believe that there are more quilias. So if you take the total number of quilias in the world, because you get them all over, if you take the total number of quilias in the world and you take the entire number of all the other bird species together, there are still more quilias. So isn't that amazing? So there are more quilias than all the combined bird species together, which is amazing. It kind of makes sense if you see those huge flocks that fly. I stand to correction. It's a theory, and it's something I read a few years ago, but I don't know how accurate it is. But if anyone finds something on that, let us know. But that's I believe that is the case. So that is very interesting, if it is 100% true. Like I say, some of these things are theories, but I think it is amazing. Maybe Jamie has heard of that too. We can possibly ask her. She's up in the Mara with some banded mongoose. Let's go say hi to her and her little tiny creatures.
We were desperate to show you a group of banded mongoose, but unfortunately they have disappeared. True to form. Oh no, wait, there's one. Well done, Viam. How did you manage to find that? There's probably about 40 of them that have just streamed across in front of us, and they look like liquid when they move through this long grass. Okay, bye mongoose. It was short, brief, but lovely. I'll tell you the story of the other evening. During one of our rehearsals, or the night leading up to our rehearsals, and that's of course when we do a lot of our Facebook lives, and Scott had hunting lions and lioness with cubs, and Brent had lions, and I had lions too, but then I lost them because some elephants came and chased them, and I couldn't start the vehicle because the elephants were on top of me in the dark. But eventually I found the lions again, but at this stage I had Oh, you got them, wait, no mongoose, come back. I'd probably had a couple of bottles of water, some coffee to keep me awake. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's lovely. And I don't need to paint you a picture, but at that point it was relatively desperate. I waited until the lions lay down, and then I drove a little way away, close enough that I could still see them and felt slightly vulnerable. And when I returned back onto the vehicle, the lions had completely vanished, and we never found them again. We drove around the entire night without seeing a single lion after that. Unfortunate timings. At least our mongoose have been slightly more obliging. And just to show you what the migration looks like from afar, it actually almost looks like burn patches on the ground. There are just clumps of wildebeest everywhere. There you go, there's a whole stream of them. Well, they're moving, yes. Marching along. Look at that, isn't that incredible? And a giant mass of them over there. And then if you look, now how am I going to describe this to you? I think those are them up on the mountain as well. If we look up on the mountainside, exactly in the middle of your frame there, Viam, look at that. That's all wildebeest as well. Spreading right up the mountainside.
Ants on bread.
Ants on bread. That's exactly what it looks like. I wish they'd all been here when I got to go on the hot air balloon. Because I got to go on a hot air balloon. It's the very first time I've ever been on one. I was so excited. Saw a rhino, but there weren't this many wildebeest when I flew over here. It was still amazing. Must be what it's like to be a bird, in a way. That smooth soaring motion. I wonder if all of... Wait for it. I've thought of one. I wonder if all of these are wildebeest or if some of them are buffalo. In other words, fake news. I thought it was funny. Perhaps less... Perhaps it was less funny. Maybe it sounded better in my head than when I said it. So I was planning on taking you back to the romancing lions, but I appear to have taken a slightly, oh goodness gracious, slightly confusing route. Alright, Kito, are you ready for this? Everybody holding on? Oh, it's not so bad. Oh, it's really not so bad. Did I spill your coffee? I'm sorry. Sorry, Viam. We may or may not have stopped on the banks of the Mara River for some hot chocolate. Oh! I blame Kito. She's bumpier than the others. Now, Mike, you would like to know, while we drive and chat about Kito, how the vehicles are that we use here as compared to the ones in Djuma. Longer is the brief answer. Now that we've got them working and we've repaired all of the various niggles, let's put them that way, one of which included a vast amount of water in the diesel tank of Paka. Now that we've got them working, they've been serving us incredibly well. They've kept going all night over some very bumpy roads, off-road, into holes, out of holes. They're longer, so it's easier to get stuck. But otherwise, and they're quite top-heavy because obviously we have to have a roof and we have all sorts of equipment on the roof. So I wouldn't want to put them at a very steep angle, sideways angle at all. But other than that, they've served us very well. Forgot the part where you put it into low range. Here we go. No, they've been fine. I haven't been stuck once, touch wood, so far, because it's not exactly the rainy season. I'm sure once the rains arrive once again, we will all spend at least some portion of our day covered in mud trying to shovel ourselves out of a rut that we've made. So they are much, much longer. Liam's got more room at the back there. They've got an extra seat at the back, of course, for our rangers who accompany us at night or early in the morning. Mila's my favorite. Mila's my car, pretty much. Kito is Brent's because it's got slightly more leg room. Oh, there. Okay. Where to now? When in doubt, I guess stick with the migration. Stanley × 3, talking about our balloon rides. You want to know if we can direct the balloon to where we want it to go. We cannot. They're obviously very, very competent pilots of the balloons who have many years of experience, and apparently flying in the Mara is, especially this area with the escarpment winds, is one of the more tricky places to fly. But obviously you go where the wind takes you. They do have a certain degree of control about which way you're facing and obviously how high you are, and that will change how fast the wind is blowing. And obviously faster up at higher altitudes. So in that way, they can actually control a little bit. But you are essentially at the mercy of the winds, and I've heard many a story of people asking the pilot to stop when they see a lion or something, which is definitely not in their control. Can't exactly throw down an anchor. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to see the Mara though. We're very privileged to be able to experience that, and I'm very glad that we can share it with you. And I'm sure you'll all agree that Manu's been doing an excellent job from up high, and Senzo before him. Goodness grief! Oh, I was going to try and make a pun, but it didn't work. It sounds as though Taylor's found some lost members of the migration.
We have found some gnu's, and it seems as though, Jamie, they're not quite as exciting. Well, maybe, hang on, wait, this might change up here. We've got a wildebeest that's now rolling around, which could be quite funny. I think they're getting ready to settle in just like the lions are. And if you're wondering why we're not with the lions anymore, it was just there were a couple of cars that wanted to come in and have a look at them. And from my experience, guests don't like to sit and watch sleepy cats. So I don't think that they'll be there for too long. So as soon as they move out, we'll actually head back there and then go and spend some more time with them. But we'll give them about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll go and take up another spot again. It's always nice just to be courteous, of course. So we're with the wildebeest. This is another herd, a different herd from the ones we saw earlier on the plains of quarantine. On Impala Plains. We're now on quarantine. And as the crow flies, these wildebeest are only about 250 meters away from those lions, which will be exciting. So keep your eyes open on the dam cam today, because you never know. They might get up and try and stalk some wildebeest. I'm sure that's the area that they'll head down into. Go for a drink at some point. There's also nice grazing down there. But I'm very excited for this afternoon safari, that hopefully we're going to have some lion activity. That would be really, really nice. It's a pity we must have missed them this morning. I think they were obviously quite active throughout the entire night, and once they've had a meal, there's no need for them to keep, well, moving around. They've just taken up a little bit of a rest, and that's fine. As long as they get mobile for this afternoon, probably won't be straight away because it's going to be warm, but maybe a little bit later, just like these wildebeest are doing now, getting ready to have a siesta. All sort of cuddled up nicely now. You watch my back, I watch your back. Very nice. And the other one is sort of saying on the left there, I'm going to use your rump as a scratching post now. And I'm going to wear your tail as hair extensions, a wig. Look at that. Well, you better be careful where you put those horns, my friend, because otherwise you might find you're going to get a hoof to your face if you aren't careful. But it seems as though, like Byron said earlier, he was going to do a bit of birding, and that he is. He's ticked quite a few off the list. He's now also got a red-crested korhaan.
I had one, Taylor. I had one. It was out in the open, a beautiful view of the red-crested korhaan, but it's moved into the long grass now. Often these birds don't hang around very long, and they do move off quite quickly. Nice to see a red-crested korhaan. We do get quite a few here, but up in the Timbavati, so further north, there are a lot more red-crested korhaans around there. You often hear them calling and whistling and displaying. Actually curious as to when they the exact time of year they display. I think I remember reading that they can display year-round. Now they do those wonderful displays where they shoot up into the air, they stop flapping their wings, and they basically do almost like a backflip, and they parachute back down to the ground. But the display, I'm trying to think, let's see exactly if they tell us when that display occurs. See, the habitat, they say here, they like broadleafed acacia and cluster-leaf terminalia areas. So this is the I suppose mixed woodland with all the combretums that we have around here, but then especially mapani. So we don't have mapani trees here. They're further north, up in the Timbavati. They don't say anything here regarding the. Trying to see. Doesn't say anything about the display. Note in spectacular display files. No, it doesn't give me. Doesn't give me an exact time of year that they do display. I'll try to see if I can find it somewhere else. But I haven't been seeing them displaying this time of year at all. I've heard them calling a few times, but not displaying. Ah, a beautiful lilac-breasted roller. Hang on, listen carefully. There's a red-crested coron calling now. It was just whistling, and I've spotted it. Let's go have a look there quickly. Hold on. Sorry. Is that lilac-breasted roller is always beautiful, lovely to see, but we see them quite regularly. That red-crested coron is just off to the edge of the grass. Let's see. Maybe we can get a view. You see there, sensor straight through there. There we go. I heard it calling. There we go. Beautiful red-crested coron. Now, my friend Judas used to do this little trick, and it sometimes worked, and I've tried it before while live, but often the tapping on the bonnet sometimes, but I have seen it work before. But I do think it depends on the time of year, and you need that red-crested coron to call back and whistle back. It's worked for us once or twice on Safari Live. Wow, that sounded like a very unhappy elephant in the distance. Just hear them shouting. Anyway, that red-crested coron just disappeared for us. And through the long grass, you see how easily they camouflage and disappear. Nice to see it though. Not interested in displaying for us though. Clearly. Now Taylor's up on these clearings above camp, and she's got a herd of wildebeest. I wonder where they headed. They might head down to water. Let's go see.
It seems as though we're wildebeesting today. I don't know where they headed to. It was quite funny. The bull started acting, he was quite excited. He was jumping around, and I have no idea why he was exhibiting this behavior. And then he just started racing away, and then of course, well, the herd followed him, because what the bull says goes, apparently. And now they're relaxed. Now they're just walking casually. I don't know if maybe the wind turned and they picked up on the sense of those lions and then panicked. That could definitely have been the case. Well, there's a couple of starlings, a few birds making their way in, taking advantage of the wildebeest moving through the long grass. Very clever birds. Of course, we know that as those wildebeest move, they're chasing up grasshoppers and all sorts of other insects, and insects are few and far between at this time of the year. So it's important that the starlings, that any birds that feed on insects, drongos, they all sort of follow the wildebeest. There's also some impala moving around at the background and catch those insects that are being chased away. Isn't that cool? Now I'm just waiting for a vehicle to move out, and then we're going to head back towards those lines. We should be able to get in hopefully the next 10 minutes or so, and then we'll go back to those sleepy lions. Should we go around? Should we try and follow the wildebeest? Let's follow the mini migration that's happening right now here. How exciting! They're not going to cross any rivers. They're also not going to get eaten by any crocodiles, but they could be eaten by lions. It's definitely a possibility. Yes, we're going to maybe actually be able to go back to these lions a little bit sooner than I thought. Like I said, there's not one guest in the world that wants to sit and watch a lion sleep for hours and hours and hours on end. Although, except unless you come on a safari with me, then I sort of force it upon you and give you, bless you, Craig, and give you no other option. Because if you want to see animals active and moving around, then you have to be prepared to wait. You can't always just jump in on the action. And like we always say, if you do move out, you lose your spot and somebody else will come in. It's quite quiet at the moment around here, so that's why I'm not really worried. I know we'll get back into that sighting fairly quickly. But when you're on a property that has got 27 vehicles driving around, you can forget it. You hold down and you push through, and you be a bit selfish, but it means that you will be able to see action. And you've seen how we've been lucky. We will sit sometimes for hours and hours and hours on end and just see an animal twitch its ear or its flick its tail, and that's normally all the excitement. But it might not be exciting now, but I definitely think we've got something to look forward to for the sunset safari. So that's going to be really nice. And they're in the heart of Djuma too. They're not particularly close to any boundaries. So we should be able to have some nice quality time with them a little bit later. Now that all the guides have seen lions this morning, I know that leopard is going to be on the menu for this afternoon. So it might leave us entirely just with those cats. Unless no leopards are found, you might find the guides will come back to that same sighting. First lions that were found. So no one found the Torchwood Pride, no one's found any more of the Birmingham boys. We'll have to see. I know it's going to fly if I go back. We're just going to take the southern road quickly, have a look at all the wildebeest in Impala, and then we'll go back towards those lions, which is not far away at all. I saw Connor earlier. Connor's at the Bushbrass site. He's making a fire, preparing for Byron's little bush breakfast that he's going to make for us. I'm so excited. Waking up and smelling that burning wood is fantastic. Right, let's go across to Byron. He has found himself not grey elephants but grey warthogs.
I have indeed a big family of warthog, and they're feeding around the edge of this termite mound. I wonder if they haven't got a burrow around here somewhere. Also, warthogs enjoy feeding, or animals in general enjoy feeding on the vegetation around the termite mounds, because the soil is actually rich in nutrients, and so is the vegetation. And we'll see them move out shortly. They're walking past us. Nice group of warthogs. I can hear a woodpecker busy knocking away. See if I can spot it for us. Lovely morning, starting to warm up a little bit. And we're still bumping into a lot of animals. I'm just listening and trying to look for this little woodpecker. Oh, Joe, it looks like a female with youngsters. Four young ones and two larger ones. There's serious tusks on that one. I wonder if that isn't a male that's with them. I can't see the face. No, it's a female. It's a female. Looks like two females and then four youngsters. Serious tusks on that warthog. Sorry, 5 youngsters. There's one to the back there too. Beautiful tusks, look at that. Oh, those could do some serious damage, can't they? Madeline, you asked if the warthogs snort or grunt like domestic pigs. They do sometimes. They do make a snorting or grunting sound. These ones are quite relaxed. Laura Moore, it's very difficult to say how big their tusks get. I've seen warthog with huge tusks. This female has actually, the ones that we saw now are very big. I don't know of the exact measurement. It changes a lot, and can vary depending on the area, depending on the age. But those are decent sized tusks for a female. It seems like all the lions in Africa seem to be resting at the moment. We've got the Nkuhuma pride with the Birmingham male resting, and it sounds like Jamie has also got a pride of lions resting in the morning sun.
Can you see where the animal is? I can only just see where said animal is, and that's because bellies filled with wildebeest, the Agama lions are pretty much as flat as they could get. I don't think they could get much flatter than that. So there you go. They at least have come out slightly into the open. This, by the way, is where the dead hippopotamus was that the hyenas were feeding off in this river system that will ultimately feed into the swamp that we've just come out of, that big green patch of, well, grass. That's where these drainage lines empty into, or these luggers as they are known here. So that's what the Agamas are doing, which is not very much. I'm guessing that the littlest cubs have been taken back to their den site. Now, Paul, you want to know if we get any white lions, although she's giving us a lovely view of her white belly. No, we do not. Apparently, there are white hyenas to the south around the Tanzanian border, which is something that I'm absolutely desperate to see. So generally speaking, the genetic line for white lions, which are leucistic lions, not albino lions, but leucistic lions, is mainly found in South Africa, so around the Timbavati region, and even then it's very, very isolated populations. Once every now and again, that gene expresses itself in families or prides outside of those known prides, but it's very unusual because it's a recessive gene. So you need two parents that are either carriers or are leucistic themselves. So no white lions here. There is, of course, the record of the spotless cheetah, and then the white hyenas. Imagine seeing a white hyena. We have also got melanistic bush babies living around our camp. Large bush babies. What are they called? Greater galagos. Forgot the name for a second. The big fluffy ones. There are some big, basically black ones up at the top at the camp. There is also a bird that I would absolutely love to show you, and unfortunately it doesn't come down here, and they're quite unusual, but there's an African blue flycatcher that lives up by our camp that is now one of my top 5 ever birds. It looks like a fairy tale bird, and I forgot my bird book. I did wake up at 3 o'clock this morning, so you'll have to forgive me, otherwise I'd show you a picture. But the African blue flycatchers are just perfect. Maybe one of you can find a picture on the internet and share it on #SafariLive on Twitter. Stanley times 3, wondering about the difference between leucistic and albinism. Albino animals are completely lacking in pigment, so that's where you get the red eyes and the very, very pale color. Whereas white lions, leucistic lions, are not completely lacking in pigment. Their eyes are blue, not red, and they do have slight pigment to their hair, to their manes, and to their fur. So they are not completely lacking in color. Oh no. I'm so useless with this car because the reverse is in a different place. I think this gearbox is going again though. I'm not that useless. Morning. I'm just trying to reposition so I can show you the leftovers of that hippo kill. Whee! Since the lions are very sleepy. Hopefully they get up to something tonight though. James, of course, had a very exciting evening with them yesterday. Sorry, let me attempt to get the sandpaper out of my eyeballs. Dr. Rob, I haven't heard any stories about King Cheetah in the Mara. King Cheetah, of course, for our new viewers, is again another genetic abnormality within cheetah populations, and they have very, very large spots, so large that they actually almost become stripes in the way that they're patterned. And again, it's a recessive gene. Oh look, it's not the pelvis, it's the head. That's very cool. Ah, the hippo skull. How cool is that? Look at the tusks. Now that was the unfortunate hippo that was fed off by the hyenas. And there you can actually see those. I wish I could jump out. I can't, unfortunately. But I would love to bring it a bit closer to you. It looks a bit manky. Maybe not. But you can actually see those fierce tusks that they use for fighting each other. The bottom ones being the most dangerous, rubbed up sharp against the top ones. And those, of course, would be used for spearing, as well as the bottom ones that jut out forwards. All defense mechanisms, as well as for fighting off other males. Now, I'm not sure, for the viewers that have missed it, I'm not sure how this hippopotamus died. I just know that the hyenas were feeding off it not so long ago. It was disgusting. It was truly revolting, and I'm pretty used to bad smells and gross sights. But when they opened up the stomach contents, well, bleh. But at least nothing went to waste. Okay, onwards towards our ridge, and perhaps we'll find some hyena on the way, and some wildebeest. Do you think you'll ever get bored of seeing wildebeest, I wonder? I doubt it. I'm going to clutch frantically onto my hat for the...
Oh my goodness. Just when I thought that the gremlins weren't going to come back and haunt us, that's exactly what they've gone and done. Sorry about that, Jamie, but here we are. We're back with Nkuhuma Pride, and they're still sleeping. What a surprise. But I don't really blame them for enjoying a snooze. Remember, big cats need to conserve their energy. It's very important that they do so. If they spent their days running around entertaining you and I, well, they wouldn't be very good hunters, and they're not the greatest hunters as is. So they need to sleep. But look at them. They're completely in the sun now, and the sun is warming up. Almost past the point where it's not going to be comfortable for too much longer. So they're going to have to move. There's no shade anywhere near here. They're going to have to travel a little bit of a way. Now, can I have that again, please, Chantal? I think I missed a vital part there. Ah, okay. There we go. That I wasn't Let me take that out. Okay, so now I can hear you now. Thank you. Kobe, you were wondering if lions need. Yes, we see them sort of needing, especially when the youngsters are suckling. They tend to do so. But other than that, not really. We're actually talking about it yesterday when we were watching, I think it was yesterday morning, we were watching little Nkuhuma suckling her mom, the hyena. That's what I'm talking about. And I was wondering if hyenas did it. We do see the big cats doing it. Something else that I enjoy watching cats do, which domestic cats do exactly the same thing, is using the trees as scratching posts. That's very impressive. And actually Mfumo has got his paw sprawled out on a bush willow tree. He's just using it. I think that's obviously comfortable. I don't know for how much longer that's going to be comfortable for, but I absolutely love watching them stretch right up into the trees and then scratching on the bark. That, of course, is very important. It helps strengthen the tendons, and then it also, of course, gets rid of any old nail sheaths. There's one lioness now who's opened her eyes, a little bit itchy. Now she's starting to groom a fellow member of the pride. Is that on Djuma eyes? It looks like it, doesn't it? Just when the light hits her eyes nicely, they're not that golden color. Or are they? Or are my eyes playing tricks on myself? It's hard to see, isn't it? They don't look like they want to do too much. She looks exhausted. Just trying to scratch the back of her neck by the looks of it. Well, let's see. Let's see if she's going to continue grooming. She's not, of course, grooming herself, but this is something that we see quite often with the big cats, and even with a mother and a youngster, with a variety of different species. They all will groom each other. It's very important, especially for hunting, if you think about it. If you're constantly grooming one another, you're strengthening the bond, you're reassuring that bond, and that definitely helps when you go out on a hunt, because you know each other very well. It's very quiet around here. A couple of francolins calling in the distance, but not much else. Well, the wind is also starting to pick up. That'll be a nice cool breeze. But everybody else has still got their heads flat on the ground, eyes closed, not really looking like they're going to do too much. But the nice thing with the lion pride is you only need one lion to get up and start moving before they all play follow my leader. And hopefully this lass, yeah, it is Amber Eyes. Hello, beautiful. We haven't seen you for a long time. She's looking in fantastic, strong condition, don't you think? I'm so sorry, Chantal. I'm just struggling to hear you. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my earpiece. The comms are coming through. Let me just adjust volumes. Can I please have that question from the snazzy again? Ah, okay. Now, sorry, this is from Snazzy. We're just having a couple of comms problems today. We will try and get them sorted. And you were wondering, well, you said, I guess that the white marking under their eye is part of their print. It is. All lions have got that white marking under their eye, and it's very valuable to them at night, particularly at night, because that helps reflect any light from the stars, from the moon, wherever it may be coming from, back into their eyes, and then they're then able to utilize it, and it helps them see better. So it is very, very important that they have that. You even see it with the kudu and the nyala, the animals that are living in the very thick vegetation. They have it, and I'm sure it plays a similar role. But remember, the lion's eyes are much more different to those of herbivores. Are you going to get up, young lady? No, that's very sweet there. This is my favorite, seeing a carpet of cats like this. Isn't that great? Right, let's go across to Byron now. It seems as though he's arrived at the Bushbrass site. We'll stick with these lions. Hopefully they'll get up, but I can smell that fire burning.
Right, now We are at our little bush breakfast site, and the drone commander Connor Teagues has made a wonderful fire for us so long. So our fire is going, everyone, and very soon breakfast will be cooked over this fire. It's actually wonderful standing around a fire in the morning. So that is our plan. So at least the fire is going, so we'll have some nice hot coals and something warm to start cooking on. And yeah, so that's it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, and we'll see. Oh, and I can see there's some hungry people already, waiting for us to cook and prepare their breakfast for them. Oh, gee, I better not make a mistake and burn. And I better not burn anything. Taylor gets very aggressive if we don't have her food in time. Just joking. It's not nearly as bad as me. We all know I do get hangry. So at least the fire is going there. So very soon, the next 10 or 15 minutes, we'll be able to start cooking. It's a lovely morning. Perfect to be out having breakfast in the bush. These winter mornings are wonderful because it's not hot, it's nice and cool. The sun is out though, so it's very pleasant. The temperature is perfect. We must be probably around 22 or 24 degrees Celsius, somewhere around there, I would guess. So it says apparently the temperature is about 19 degrees Celsius, 60. Sorry, Chantal, I didn't hear what in temperature in the 60s it was Fahrenheit. 66 degrees Fahrenheit, so about 19 degrees Celsius. Feels a little warmer than that, although I suppose I still have my jackets on. It sounds like Taylor's enjoyed her morning with the lions and she's still sitting there. Hopefully they don't smell our breakfast and decide to join us.
I'm getting hungry now, and Byron, yes, and like you said, I get very, very angry when my breakfast is not ready. So if you're not careful, I'm going to come on over there with a knobthorn branch. And Craig said he will get a buffalo thorn branch and we'll come in guns blazing. Hey, Craig. Or sticks blazing. Now, the lionesses actually seem to have quite a bit of blood still on their paws and things. You can actually see on the top of her neck, this lioness's neck, I've just spotted some too. I wonder if she's been mating. There are a couple of, looks like a few bite marks too. Which is very, very typical of lionesses that have been mating. Interesting. But they all seem to have a touch of blood on their paws at the moment. So they obviously got something to feast on. But sadly, it wasn't a massive meal, especially for the girls. 4 more seem to have devoured most of whatever they ate. But let's go across to Jamie one last time this morning. I'm sure you're all very happy to be spending time with her. So I won't keep you waiting.
Look at this. The wind is now howling while we look at final control, which is why your picture is jumping up and down. I'm having a little bit of a wobble. Now that is where we are heading right now. VM and myself are... There's your tent. Is that your tent there?
Yeah, or Louise's tent.
That's either yours or Louise's tent. Front row's definitely got the best view. We've got the shelter from the window. So we're going to go racing up the hill. I can almost smell breakfast. I'm really hoping there's some sausages. And the wildebeest have gathered literally at our doorstep. Look at this. Mer. Mer. This is what our hyena clan have been reveling in. Apparently they've been chasing these poor wildebeest up and down the hill all night, waiting for one of them to stumble on a rock. Right, we're going to say farewell. As I said, breakfast is calling. It's been a long morning. Thank you all for joining us. It has been so much fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass you back into the capable hands of the team in South Africa. Bye-bye, everybody.
Oh, thank you, Jamie. That's very sweet of you. Yes, he's still here. Still with our lions, and they're still licking. Well, at least one lioness, that is. Now you can see the blood on her paw, though. You can see just a little bit. I wonder if they also weren't scrapping over whatever they were feeding on at one point. I can imagine trying to fight him for more would have been a little bit of a struggle, though you wouldn't think so with 4 lionesses. I can't see the 5th lioness either. I'm trying to have a count. I can see all the cubs, but there's definitely one lioness that's not here. Maybe she'll come back. Let me just check out. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't know. 1, 2, 3. I can't even count the cubs. It's just the bodies everywhere at the moment. It's so difficult to see in the long grass. So I'm not sure if all the adults are here. I can only see really 4 big lionesses. But I stand under correction, of course. But maybe this afternoon, if they do start to get up and start moving around, because I don't think they'll go far now, barring maybe moving to find some more shade, that we'll get some action this evening. Even though they have eaten this morning, like we've been saying, it's not a particularly big meal, and they will try and hunt again as soon as they get another opportunity. And quarantine is not far from here. There were wildebeest, there were impala. There's often zebra scattered around these areas too. And of course, if it's going to be a hot day, the animals need to go down and have a drink. And Vuyatela Dam is not too far from here at all. So that would be a good spot. And waterbuck have to go down all the time. Lots of inyala around there. So this afternoon might be quite exciting. But if you have a look at that lioness, look how she's cleaning her toes now. It's quite interesting. So we saw the blood on her toes. Now she's trying to get rid of it. And she's stretched her foot out. That's so sweet. And trying to stick her tongue in between each toe to get rid of all of that blood. They don't like to be dirty. Spend quite a bit of time grooming themselves every single day. She was grooming one of the other lionesses. Now she's actually taking a moment to take care of herself. Look at those claws coming out now too. Oh, that's so cool. Something that we don't often get to see. Normally we only see the claws when they're grooming themselves like this, or if they're holding on to an animal like a buffalo, and you'll see them coming out. And so sharp. So sharp. You wouldn't want to be scratched by one of them. But making sure she doesn't miss any spots at all. It's actually been a fantastic morning, hasn't it? And if this mic pack falls out once more, it's going to end up in the middle of the Pride lions. Oh, well, no, I don't want to upset the lions. I'll feed it to Mfumo. That was my thing that was irritating me today. And when it falls, it pulls my hair. Not nice. I'm not comfortable at all. We'll get that sorted for this afternoon. I'm so excited for later to see what's going to arrive. Maybe some buffalo bulls come down towards Vuyatela Dam. They seem to enjoy doing that as we finish the show. The buffalo come down, have a drink, and the wind is actually coming in their direction. They could pick up on the scent, and I'm sure they would make a move. So make sure you keep watching the dam cam throughout the day. Keep us updated. Hashtag Safari Live if anything interesting comes past, or if you hear alarm calls. That'll all, of course, help us. We're trying to find these cats a little bit later if they do decide to move. But maybe not. They seem to be enjoying the sun now. No one else has woken up just yet. Who knows? A herd of elephants could come through here too and chase them up. But it has been, as I've been saying, it's been fantastic. A variety of animals, from lions to plenty of elephants to lots and lots of birds. Who knows what we're going to find this afternoon, but we hope to see you on the Sunset Safari. Don't miss it. We'll see you later.